We are wearing everyday clothing, and most of the clothing is produced in a shitty manner. I have a lot of friends who are saying, hey, I don't care anymore about the quality of jeans. I buy the cheapest 20 euro jeans. Yeah, they are gone after 3 months. They gave up. They're just saying, okay, I am not looking anymore for quality jeans because they are so hard to find. I just buy the cheapest one. And I think that's not the way it should be.
Hey Mario, you are the founder of a fashion brand, NOBS Clothing. So I have 2 questions. First, what does NOBS stand for? And second, why does the world need another fashion brand?
Yeah, hello Flo. Yeah, for what does NOBS stands? It's actually I tried to make it a bit not that obvious, but it should stand for for no BS, so it's the abbreviation for no bullshit. To make it short, so we make no bullshit clothing for you.
What do you mean with no bullshit? Like, what is the bullshit that usually happens?
Yeah, the bullshit is the fast fashion crap where you buy something, like you buy jeans and you like it and you wear it for, I don't know, several weeks, and then it immediately rips or tears somewhere, and we don't do this. So we make the no bullshit is the quality of our clothing, and also about how we sell our clothing, because we want to avoid the waste, the textile waste which is created in the fast fashion system.
So yeah, you're basically doing a crowdfunding for your jeans, for example, right? So the idea of the crowdfunding campaign is that you only produce or make the jeans, sell the jeans once people already bought it. So you never have to do what most fast fashion brands do, which is, producing tons of them and then selling some of them, and the rest is probably just, waste, and they just throw it away. Which obviously is terrible for the environment. So instead, you only produce what you already sold, right?
Exactly, that you got perfectly right. So then we actually come to your second question. So I don't think that the world needs another fashion brand, because there are so many fashion brands already, and especially in the Western world. I mean, everybody of us has clothing. Yeah? Everybody has a closet full of clothing, so nobody really needs clothing. We are not naked, and we desperately need clothing. Yeah? But I think we need more brands who are doing it the right way. Also, having a business model which is, as you already explained, does not create additional waste. Also, there are studies which state that there are 30% of the stuff you see in clothing stores is thrown away unworn. Also 30%, and that's not recycled. That's landing in the landfills, that's incinerated, or land somewhere in developing countries on huge clothing dumps. There are enough pictures of this in the internet, and I think it needs more fashion brands who are doing this differently and in a better way. And there I want to make a change, or start making a change.
Yeah, that's also a really big number, 30%, because I read the study that Austria, which is our home country, which only represents 0.1% of the population, still produces 250 or 240 tons of textile trash, garbage, every year. And then you need to multiply that by like 1,000 basically, and then you kind of know how much stuff we throw away. And that's basically where this 30% comes from. Not only from fashion brands probably, but also from other, you can also have textiles for whatever. But still, it's like a huge problem, and no one really cares, right? Like everyone talks about, we need to buy electric cars now to save the climate, but at the same time, we are not really caring about all the waste that is produced. And it's simply because that's how most fast fashion brands work, right? They operate in a way that they just produce a ton of stuff. It's cheaper for them to just have everything, and if they don't sell it, they just throw it away, and that's just how it works. So it's really important that there are people like you. And also, you mentioned the durability aspect, which is something that no one really cares about until they care about it, I think, right? People just buy it, they assume it's fine, but then it falls apart, they're annoyed, and then they still don't really make a decision of switching the brand. They probably still buy the same brand if they like it. So people are not really aware that there are different levels to that, right? So what are like the typical durability time frames of, let's say, your jeans versus a random fast fashion brand jean?
Also that's I would say a tricky question, because I just operate for half a year, so I couldn't wear my jeans for a longer period. But in general, a jean, also in the past, a jean how they used to be made, when you switch them regularly, so when you're not just wearing one jean, but you have 2-3 jeans, which you're changing regularly, then you can say that the jean should easily last up to 10 years. Also in the past that was also so that's the benchmark, and nowadays it's maybe for months. Also, I have a lot of friends who are saying, hey, I don't care anymore about the quality of jeans. I buy the cheapest 20 euro jeans, they are gone after 3 months, and then I just buy them, but then I rebuy them. So and I think they gave up. They're just saying, okay, I'm not looking anymore for quality jeans because they are so hard to find. I just buy the cheapest one, and I think that's not the way it should be.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, not only for the climate, but also it's actually more expensive. I mean, like if it lasts only a few months, and the other one, like the old, I assume that the way you make jeans is kind of in the old-fashioned way, right? Kind of funny word.
Yes, I try to. This is also I really try to that we use quality garments really with thick fabric, so heavy duty fabric that they can really stand some punch, that you can wear them for a longer time.
So you're not just sitting.
And so we strive that you can wear them for several years. I mean, maybe the 10 years, it's tricky to say.
Of course, it also depends on how people are wearing it. If you're wearing them for work, like if you actually really depends on what you do. If you're sitting in the office or you work outdoors, it will make a difference. But still, like, even if a cheap jeans and even 20 euros is, I mean, let's say you can get one for 20 euros, and then yours might be like 5, 6, 8, whatever times the price of the cheapest jeans, then this jeans only, like the money only lasts the person buying the cheap jeans for like 1 or 2 years, versus yours, it could last for 10 years, right? So it's actually cheaper to buy your jeans, which is also something people are probably not really thinking about.
Exactly, yes, you're right.
So that's pretty much the mission of NOBS Clothing, right? Like, that's why you're doing it, or is there any other reason you're doing it?
Also, the mission of NOBS Clothing is to make sustainable rugged clothing cheaper, and to reach a broader customer base with it, also to reach more people. Because usually what people would say, I think, I have the feeling, okay, it's sustainable, it's expensive, and so on. I want to and with this crowdfunding concept, what you already explained, which is eliminating waste, we also eliminate costs in the distribution of clothing, also the distribution costs. So we don't have storage costs, because we're working on demand. We have no dead stock where we have to dump it. We have no middleman in between, so we can really reduce the price for the customer for this kind of clothing. And I can easily say we can we can reach so up to 40 to 50% better price than in traditional retail.
So you're not only more durable, you're not only more sustainable, but you're also cheaper at the same time. At least, I guess, compared to other manufacturers who only focus on sustainability and durability, because they still have all the costs you just explained, right? And you solved it with crowdfunding. Yes. Yeah, that's a really good concept.
Yeah, I think you have to. Also, there are also there's a good book from a German economy professor, from Professor Faltin. He wrote this book in German. It's Kopf schlägt Kapital. Brain beats money, I think it's in English, where he's stating if you really want to have a disruptive business idea, then you have to be 4 times better than your competition. And the 4 times is your quality must be twice as good, and you must have half the price. And then you are disruptive. I mean, this times 4 is the goal. Yeah, it's really it's seldom that you reach this 4 times, but you should strive getting there, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Sounds really hard to get there, because
it's really hard. Yeah.
I mean, the fashion industry, like, it's not like a new industry, right? And it's like I don't know, probably $1 trillion industry. So there are a lot of brands competing against each other, but like all the things you described, they are not really standard. Like, I don't know a lot of crowdfunding campaigns. I don't really know that brands actively promote that they're durable, right? It's really hard to find them. If you go to a random fashion outlet, you will not see any label of, yeah, this is durable, this is... You also mentioned like smart indigo, which is a dyeing method that doesn't use chemicals. And I think 90% of clothes actually use chemicals, right? But you are using the smart indigo method. What exactly is that, and how does it work?
Yes, we're speaking now about the dyeing of denim fabric, and my weaving mill, also it's the company Pure Denim, also for the no bullshit jeans what we are talking about, the first product of NOBS Clothing. We are using a denim fabric from the company Pure Denim from Italy, and they are utilizing the smart indigo dyeing technology, which is actually, I think, a Swiss invention. And they don't need hazardous chemicals in the dyeing of the jeans, and they use electricity instead. So you don't have these chemicals in the wastewater, and they can reduce wastewater, and it's really cool stuff what they are doing.
So usually you take chemicals so that the color, whatever color it is in jeans, like blue, right? That this actually
it's indigo,
the indigo, that it fits
indigo
on the clothes, on the textile itself.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the chemistry details of it, but you have to, let's say, activate the pigment that it sticks to the fabric. Also to
so
the
cotton. This activation process usually is done with chemicals, but it actually also works with electricity, which is obviously way better, because you mentioned like the wastewater, like you have chemicals in the water everywhere, but also you're actually wearing this stuff. So why would you wear clothes that are dyed using chemicals when you can just wear them after they are made using electricity, which obviously is not harmful, right? Because it's not like that you get an electric shock afterwards, right? So it's...
I can prove it's not like that, no. You don't get electric shock.
So it's clearly the better method, but it's probably more expensive, right? Because that's why I guess fast fashion is not using it.
Actually, it's a really good question, because I think the process itself, what I have read from the company who invented Smart Indigo, it's actually the operation costs are cheaper.
What?
Because you don't have to buy the chemicals for reducing the indigo. So you save, you eliminate waste and also save costs. Yeah? So what I understood, I think it's my opinion, I don't know. I think maybe the investment costs are too high for traditional companies, because they have their dyeing plant, it's working, and they don't want to change it. That I think is the problem.
Yeah, it's true. Like, probably the process of making it is cheaper because you don't need to fill up the chemicals. But actually setting it up with the electricity, like, it's probably like kind of expensive. And if you're a fast fashion brand selling millions of pieces, that probably would mean $1 billion investment into changing your dyeing process. and they are not doing it because no one is asking for it, right? And they're getting away with it, and no one.
Exactly.
So yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's also what, in my opinion, also what I have now understood also with some talks with some interested customers, that nobody has awareness about the environmental impact of dyeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, also nobody who is buying something, nobody knows it, how it is dyed, how much waste is created. There is no awareness for it. And I also have a bit the feeling that, and that's why the fashion industry in general doesn't care so much for it, I think, or also doesn't state it so much, because even the fashion brands who are saying, we are sustainable, I think I have a bit the feeling that for them it's okay, we're using organic cotton and everything is all right. So that is, I have a bit the feeling everything is now organic cotton, but how the cotton is dyed, that nobody cares. So at least it's sustainable. At least it's organic cotton.
People care about the material, but of course it needs to be dyed, and they don't even question it. And no one, in general, I guess you can also say that if the brand doesn't talk about smart indigo in this case, then you also know that they are not using it, because they would be proud of it like you are, right? You're like, yeah, we don't use chemicals. If people don't mention it, you know they are using chemicals pretty much.
Yeah, or hazardous chemicals.
Yeah. So that's also great for the customer, right? Because it's twofold. It's like the environment is saved by that, because otherwise you just have these chemicals in the water at some point, and at the same time you're not wearing clothes that were dyed using chemicals. So it's a no-brainer to buy a jeans that is dyed using smart indigo, right? But no one is really caring. People are not aware of the problem. So that's where you basically step in and pretty much answers the question, why does the world need another fashion brand? It's because brands like this doesn't exist, right? Yeah, it's great. I love it. You
could say that. Yeah, that's what I try to do. Yeah, now we must spread the word.
We must spread the word.
that's the more difficult problem. I have to say, making the jean is everybody. I think it's interesting to say from my perspective, because I'm not from the fashion industry, but I could set up the supply chain for jean in Europe, and when I can do it, I think everybody can do it. Yeah. But now that was the easy part, setting up this supply chain and then developing the no bullshit jeans. It's now the hard part is now selling or find people to buy it in the crowdfunding campaign. So that's
I think that's what a lot of brands in general struggle with. I strongly believe in, if 8 billion people, or I think it's like 7.9 billion people right now on Earth would know about what you're good at, what you're doing, about your brand, about your product, then you would never have any problem selling it, because there are enough people know about it. Like in this case, what you just explained in the last minutes, it's obvious that this jeans, for example, is like huge value to everyone, to Earth, to people. It's more durable. It's basically cheaper even than if you always buy the new jeans, the cheap jeans, and they always have to rebuy them. It's a no-brainer to buy such a jeans, right? Yeah. So the only challenge is that people are actually aware of that. And as you said, people are not aware of that. Organic cotton is all that matters apparently, and even that is not doesn't matter for a lot of people. As long as it's cheaper, it's like, yeah, why would I spend that much? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the no bullshit you explained, and it really makes sense. I like the name as well. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, I tried. I was not so sure in the beginning, but it popped in my mind during hiking, where when I thought about it, what can you do, and then it was with the jeans, because I have the problems with the jeans that they don't last long, and then I said, yeah, make something which is no bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I was okay. Then we name it no bullshit. Yeah,
makes sense. There's also another problem you tackled with these jeans, which is that jeans don't really fit well, right? No one really wants to buy jeans anymore, and usually you go with some sort of stretch, right? Some slim fit, whatever, and it's like there's always some elastic material in there so that it actually, fits you better. But you are really going 100% cotton, and those type of jeans kind of died out because they don't fit. So how do you solve the problem, and like, do you solve the problem?
I would say partially. Also, what I saw, also, I have the feeling that everybody has a different body type. I think there are 3 body types, so standard body types for men, and then there are, I think, even more, I think 7 or so different for women. And of course it's hard with the gene, or it's difficult to make a gene which fits everybody perfectly. And so I think the industry has makes an average that they make it's straight, and most of the people this straight fits everyone, or fits most of the people. And then there are people like me who have a bit thicker thighs or stronger thighs, or a little bit more butt. Also, not only women have this problem, also men have this problem, and then they have this typically fit problem that the genes either fit at the thighs, but then they are really wide at the waist, or they fit at the waist, but then you can't get into the jeans because the thighs are so narrow. So what I tried to make with this gene is to create a fit there, which is also I wouldn't say it's a relaxed fit or athletic fit. It has more room for the thighs and the butt to fit in there, and that you can move comfortably, because the most important part for clothing is that it's comfortably, because otherwise you won't wear it if it's not fit.
Of course, that's super important. I have a lot of jeans or in general clothes I just don't wear because they don't fit well, and sometimes I have one that I could wear, but every time I ride my bicycle it just it hurts. So I just never wear it in the end. So it's really important that, otherwise also the durability doesn't matter, right? Because, it's durable, but if you never wear it, of course it's durable. Because,
exactly.
So you also tackle that. That's great.
But I have to say, this is now the first fit. Of course, we want to create other fits, for people like something, maybe somebody likes more slim fit. So I also want to launch other fits, but now for the starting point, for the first crowdfunding campaign, I would go with this fit. And there there's also crowdfunding is actually a great tool what you can use, because I understand that maybe there are not so many people out there, or as I said, most of the people, they are just straight, it fits them, and there are not so many people who has this need with the thicker thighs and so, but and I understand from the point of a traditional retail shop that it makes no sense to have them on stock, this kind of jeans, or a special fit. But the nice thing with crowdfunding is that if I find enough people who are backing up this campaign, I can produce it without having the need for the storage cost, and that it lays around in the shop. So there's also this that I can play a bit more around with different fits. And if the campaign is not successful, also if I don't reach my order quantity what I need, then I don't produce it. So then I have no costs involved. So that's also very efficient.
Yeah, that's amazing. It feels like it's a good mix of custom tailored clothing, which is super expensive, of course, if you just have to go to a tailor and then it fits everything. And what the fast fashion industry is doing of, having the one size fits all approach, which is actually not true, of course. As you said, there are 3 different sizes or 3 different body types for men, 7 for women. So obviously their approach doesn't really work for everyone, but they're still going with it because it would be too expensive to, do more of them. And yours is with the crowdfunding, it's a good mix, because you can still say, okay, there are 10 people probably who, they need this type of fit, and then there are 10 people who need this fit, and then you just produce them. And then you also, it makes perfect sense. So you have everything in place, really.
Yeah, and as you said in the when you asked me this question, it's also a bit with the elastan, also with the stretch content in the jeans, or in general trousers, that it's a good, let's say, remedy for making unfitting clothes fit, because they stretch. You can it will fit even if it don't really fit there, because it stretches. And yeah, of course that is working, but it's there are some costs involved. The cost it is with the elastan, it's not as durable as cotton. Also, so I think the breaking and the tearing strength are lower than cotton, and yeah, also you have this microplastic issue
with every washing, right?
It's not
like every time you wash your jeans, there's new microplastic from this elastan released. And I even read a study that it's like even in Antarctica, they found some pieces of that. So it's like, that's a huge problem. And with every time washing jeans, there's more microplastic. And it's not less durable. So but it makes sense that they do it, right? Because then they can only make like one jeans. It fits because it stretches if it doesn't fit. But it's not really a solution.
And it's also I think everybody knows this, when you have a jean with stretch content, when you wash it, then it looks very nice, and then you wear it for one day, and then it stretches during the day, and after the second day, the fabric looks a bit baggy, so you have some wavy structures in it, and it doesn't look nice anymore. That's especially when you use when the manufacturer uses the cheap elastan, and then it doesn't goes back in its former state anymore. So it has this it's elongated, and it makes these waves in this bagginess in the fabric.
I always thought it's the washing powder.
No, that's the stretch. I have it with a t-shirt. I have a t-shirt, unfortunately, with stretch content, and I don't know, after not even a year, I don't wear it anymore because it looks not nice anymore.
Learning.
And there we have also now it's maybe kind of part of the durability, but when the fabric is not looking nice anymore, so you also don't wear it anymore. So that's also then waste actually. So the cloth, also the t-shirt is fine, or the jean, but you don't wear it anymore because you don't like it anymore.
Yeah, and then it just stays in your, I don't know, it's probably in your house for a few years, and then you just throw it out at some point when you realize you never wore it. It's also a problem. It should also just keep the shape. It should just also look good after a few years, right? And cheap elastan is probably what a lot of fast fashion brands use. And therefore, even if it doesn't actually break, or you still don't wear it because it doesn't look good, which is still basically going to waste. Very interesting.
It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a hole in it, or it's ripped, or if it just doesn't look nice.
It's the same thing. How do you launch this crowdfunding campaign you were talking about? Like, how can people sign up for that? When does it start? And how much is it? So for our first product, also for the No Bullshit jeans, the campaign will start in September this year, so right after summer. And I will use a traditional crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter. I actually haven't decided yet on which platform for the trust for interested customers, because it's working, and it's also, I think there you have to gain the trust with the payment, because you pay up front, and then people don't know, do they get the money back or do they get the product? And on this established platform, it's just working. I don't get the money right away. I just get the money when the campaign is successful. So I want to build trust via this approach. So there's no risk basically for the customer. Like, you pay, but if it's not successful, if it doesn't get produced, the customer gets the money back from the platform, like Kickstarter or whatever platform.
Yes.
So you can't actually, even if you try it, you can't scam them. You can't be like, oh, thanks for the money, I'm not doing anything. No. Basically, you have no control over that, and that's great.
Yes, exactly. And in the future, I would then use my own platform, also like my own online shop for running this campaign, when I have established the trust that I don't scam people.
Makes sense.
And that's September, the platform, and then the jean will cost 99.9 euro.
Okay.
for the price. I think
that's way cheaper than what I know sustainable, durable, well-made jeans cost. Because I feel like you can't really get them below 150 at all. Probably more than 200 actually. When comparing like organic fabric, then also smart indigo, made in Europe, because as I said, everything is made in Europe.
I have to correct you. It's not organic cotton. It's recycled cotton actually.
Okay.
But that's just a small point.
So it could also be not organic, but recycled cotton is actually better than organic new cotton, right? I
think so. Yeah. So everybody has a different approach what is sustainable. Yeah. And I think organic cotton is a bit, how do you say, the term is a bit overstretched, because apparently there are studies that there is more organic, that there's more clothing with organic cotton on the market than organic cotton produced in the world. So even if the label is on it, you don't know if it really organic cotton or not, because it's a label. And so I think with recycled cotton, and even when you can, it depends also what kind of recycle fiber you use. In our case, we are actually using as I understood it, it's the waste of a spinning mill. Also the mill who is producing the yarn, their waste is recycled with a special spinning method. Yeah. And then there is it's 71% recycled cotton, and so 29% conventional cotton, because you need the recycled fibers are smaller, and then you need the longer fibers to make the quality of the yarn.
Okay.
Also that it has good mechanical properties, and the threshold is so around 29-30%. Yeah. You need long fiber to make it.
That's why there's always like a mix of the fabrics. I never really understood that. Like, why don't you just make it 100% recycled? But yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, to me, I mean, recycled is always better than organic, because what would it mean if you just prioritize organic? It would mean that you throw away the non-organic cotton, and then you produce new jeans with organic cotton, which creates waste. Right, you're not recycling it, and then you still need to spend a lot of whatever. Like, it's not like CO2 negative or climate friendly to produce organic cotton either, right? It's just the cotton itself is organic, but the whole production of it still creates a lot of CO2, whatever. So it's always better to recycle non-organic cotton than making a jeans out of fresh organic cotton, right? So, that's pretty clear.
I also think so. I haven't seen now a life cycle analysis, but it makes sense for me, as you said.
Yeah.
Also that recycled cotton is preferable over organic cotton.
How do I get these jeans? Because you said it starts in September on a crowdfunding platform. Is there any chance to secure my spot now?
Yes, so when you go on my website, also the website of NOBS Clothing, also it's nobsclothing.eu.
Okay.
You can already pre-register without any bindings and without making any payments to secure your spot in the upcoming crowdfunding campaign.
Because I think it's only like 100 spots or something, right? So I guess there might be actually a chance that once it starts, you're not even having the chance of getting one. At least not in the first campaign.
Yeah, it's a bit more. It's 120.
120. 120. You need to be quick to register.
Yes, exactly. And then you also, when you pre-register, you get then you get then all the informations per email about when it starts, how it starts, where you can buy it. So that's all included in the pre-registration.
Okay. You're also wearing a shirt saying NOBS Clothing.
Yes, that's our first shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I buy this as well, or can I only pre-register for the jeans?
Not yet, but we had the idea to start already a normal online shop with a print-on-demand T-shirt, and this will start in the course of July. Also it's not yet available, we are still building it up, but in July we will launch our online shop, and there will be the option to buy several of these shirts. So that's just the first design, but there will be also a design actually with the no bullshit logo, and some also a bit more colors for people who like colors, and also very basic design with just the logo in the neck, so that for every taste we have a t-shirt. And the T-shirt is also a bit. It's a similar process. It's print on demand, so it's just printed when you buy it. Yeah, so it's also
it's similar to crowdfunding, basically.
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah, it's yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Also to this on-demand approach. Yeah, I would like to actually also to transfer this in making clothes. Yeah. I really would have this approach with somebody orders a jean and then I just produce one jean, and not a bunch of it. But that's not, the industry is not so far yet. I think there are some manufacturers or some machine producers, because it has a lot to do with how a cut and sew manufacturer, how they set up their operations. And I think there are some OEMs, also some machine manufacturers for clothing production, who are going into this direction of on-demand production, also really small batches, and to have the same costs. But that's very rare, I think, to find such manufacturers yet. But that would be the ideal goal. So you really order it and then it gets manufactured.
Yeah, it's really.
But maybe
like with jeans, you can't do it print on demand because probably because of what you mentioned, right? You can't just make one jean at a time. With t-shirts, it's probably easier because you can at least say, okay, we'll produce the t-shirt up front maybe, and then we'll just print it, or I don't know. It's just easier to make that, right? And yeah, I want one of those. I want a t-shirt. Looking forward to the online shop launch. I'm more like the guy who doesn't like to have the brand on it in general. In your case, it might be different, but in general, I always try to have something where it's only very small somewhere, like the more casual.
Yeah, I also like this. I also like this more just plain T-shirt in the color. But now I'm the brand, so I have
it makes total sense
to show the world the branding. So.
I think the approach is very healthy of saying I don't like to wear brands, but I wear my own.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, and then also maybe what is interesting, also if this crowdfunding campaign in September should be successful, of course I don't want to stick with jeans. So we have a lot of ideas for also I'm not, as NOBS Clothing is not a jeans label. NOBS Clothing is a clothing label. And I also want to produce other products and also develop other products and sell it this way. So like T-shirts with lyocell content, or other fits.
What is lyocell?
Short pants. Yeah, lyocell is I think is a great thing. It's an man-made cellulose fiber out of wood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, also it's a cotton is also cellulose basically, but from the cotton plant, and lyocell is cellulose made out of wood, like similar like paper a bit, but it's a bit more. It is a more sophisticated chemical process behind. Yeah, so it's not harvested on fields, like cotton fields, with workers who are picking up the cotton, but it's processed in huge industry plants, but in a very also sustainable way, because it's using, of course it's using solvents, chemicals, but they are highly they're reused, so you can recycle these chemicals which are needed in the process. So it has a very low ecological footprint, And this cellulose, so these lyocell fibers, it's actually similar to viscose, so it's just different chemicals used. And these lyocell fibers, I think, has some interesting properties, because it's not it's cellulose, but it has a bit of a different chemical structure, and it has some functional properties. So it can transport water very well. A bit like wool, I think, not as good as wool. So when you're wearing it dries very fast. So that's a nice material, I think, for socks or for a t-shirt when you sweat.
It's like an organic artificial fiber, right? Which is kind of an oxymoron, but it's basically instead of the normal workout clothes, you can wear lyocell. Yeah, that's cool. And also, you mentioned that.
So I think
you mentioned that you still need to use chemicals, but you can recycle them. Does it mean that whenever you make a cotton T-shirt, you still always have to use chemicals? Because before we talked only about the dyeing process, right? But actually, in creating the garn, I guess, in order to create the material out of the cotton or the lyocell, you still need to have some chemicals, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not now. So I have to say, I'm not a textile engineer to answer this question in detail. But even if you wear a t-shirt or a trouser out of cotton, and you think it's just cotton, there is always in the manufacturing process, like in the weaving, when you have a jean, the cotton is woven. You need some chemicals or some agents which enhances the weaving process, and they could be also plastic. As there are also some depending on the process what they are using. There are it's called, I think, sizing agents, and there are sizing agents which are actually plastics. And you think you have a 100% cotton fabric, but it's still there are some plastic components on it, which of course get washed out when you wash it. But in the process of producing clothing, there are a lot of chemicals needed, and it's a dirty industry. As I think it's the second most polluting industry after the oil industry. So and also it's also kind of for me, because as I said, I'm not a textile engineer and I'm not from fashion. Even for me, it was a bit of kind of an epiphany, like when you have a non-iron shirt, also a nice business shirt, non-ironing, and it's stated in the label 100% cotton. Actually, that's not true. Because that it's non-iron, they use some plastic polymers, which is grafted on the cotton fiber to make it non-ironing. I didn't know it, but and you don't have to state it. Usually, so if you had to state it, it's then something like. I think it's then something 80% cotton, 20% plastic polymer, so something like this, with a non-iron T-shirt, and it's not stated. And I always thought, cool, Egyptian cotton, 100%, that must be good. But it's 20% something else on it, but it's not stated. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, the cotton fiber itself is not unironable, right? It will always have some, what's the English word for that? Yeah. But the plastic, of course, makes wrinkles. Yeah. So the plastic is needed. That it basically, doesn't do that. It's interesting that you don't have to state that, so you can also trick customers into thinking that you're buying. This is organic, 100% cotton, and you don't have to iron it, but actually, it's still a lot of plastic, and you're not aware. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I believed it. Also, I didn't think about it. I believed it. I thought, okay, it's 100% cotton when I bought it, but it's not 100% cotton. I also didn't know. I was not thinking about how they make it non-iron. I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, no one knows, I guess. Yeah. Like, even if you don't know it, then 99% of people don't know it, which means that people just buy and think that they did a good job of selecting the right T-shirt, but actually they're still wearing plastic. Yeah, there needs to be way more awareness in the clothing industry, because no one really cares that this is the second most polluting industry in the world. No one cares about this 100,000 of tons of textile waste. People don't care that the new fashion industry just makes clothes that, produce plastic fibers, is dyed with hazardous chemicals, even though there are alternatives, as you clearly stated, they're even cheaper as long as, the machines are there. They are not fitting, which is why they find stretch solutions with plastic, basically. Like, there's so many problems in this industry and somehow people don't care about it, right? People are like, yeah, I want to buy, like, when it comes to food, people care more. But with clothes, no one really does.
Yeah, I think that there's also a wrong approach from the fashion industry towards the customers. Yeah? Because I have the feeling, especially with clothes, everything is that the burden is on the customer side. Yeah? The customer has to be aware and to make the right choice. Yeah? I mean, you go into a store and then the customer should decide: is he buying something sustainable, which is maybe certified, or not? Yeah, I mean, the customer has so now I think the system is like the customer has to, it's the duty is on the customers, to make it. I think that's not the right approach, because how when somebody doesn't know, how can he make that thoughtful decision? What is the right choice to make? Yeah? I mean, there are thousands, a whole jungle of certifications, of labels, I don't know, regenerate cotton, eco cotton, better cotton, global organic cotton standard, whatever. Yeah? How can a normal customer make this choice? What is good, what is not? And that, I think, it's my approach is that should not be the burden of the customer, but of the manufacturer, of the label, to produce something which is which makes sense, which is, how we in German we would say, was ist gescheit produziert.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, especially as you said, you're confused. You don't even know what matters, but the only thing you see is the price difference. And then you go there, and you have one jeans for like $30 and the other one for $180. And for you, it might look the same, and you don't even know if those certificates are like real or what they do. You have no background. Of course, you would always choose the cheaper one, right? You really need to educate people enough that people would spend that much more. So then it should not, like, the customer would never really change, because the price difference, I mean, maybe it's not that big, but in general, there will be a price difference, right? So there needs to be some regulation, right? Because only then you can actually change it. Like, companies always try to produce as cheap as possible if there are no rules, right? Which is why you have so many safety standards in the car industry or in the food industry, because otherwise people would just, try to get away as cheap as possible, and not care about anything. We wouldn't have airbags or whatever, and people would just die, basically. Of course, companies say that they care about safety and stuff, but in the end, they would still optimize for producing as cheap as possible, maximizing their profit, right? And this is what the fashion industry does in the end, of doing all these things, because they probably just get away and no one cares. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm really glad that we started to work together, because for me the awareness wasn't there. I was just, I didn't even question it really. And you're never seeing any signs anywhere of being like, hey, buy this because it's better, here's why. No one talks about it. It's only about, does it look good, and about the models that promotes the fashion. That's kind of the fashion industry, right? It's really about the looks, but nothing else matters. And this needs to change.
Yeah, exactly, because it involves a topic like our everyday clothing. We are wearing everyday clothing, and then most of the clothing is produced in a shitty manner. So, yeah. And as you said, I think it's nobody wants that there is awareness built for this, because then we have to ask a lot of questions.
It's kind of sad, right? It's kind of sad, but also good that there are people like you. So there is, it's really important that brands like you can succeed, because only then there will be a change ever. Because otherwise, people would just go to the big fashion brands and buy there, and that's it. Because they don't even have the alternatives, right?
So we want to make a step into the right decision with what NOBS Clothing is doing.